Yeah, I mean, sometimes we're lucky, you know. I think I was just experimenting a bunch, with function calling when OpenAI released it.
Yes.
Function calling is kind of simple in the sense that you send, a prompt, just write something. You can structure the data, and part of structuring data, let's say like a result becoming like JSON object or something else.
Yep.
Part of that you can also make that actionable. So the JSON object can trigger a tool, or
Yes.
that's
API call.
literally
Yep.
what function calling is. Um, so I was experimenting a lot with our Mint-based, tools. We had in the beginning we had 2 plugins. We actually submitted to OpenAI one when they had plugins. Now they don't have anymore on ChatGPT. And one plugin was to generate GraphQL queries. So like we set like a massive system prompt with all of our database
Yep.
schema and all that stuff, like to just generate that JSON or the GraphQL query. That worked pretty well for the most part. And then the other one was like, because NEAR supports JSON, arguments for function calls on smart contracts. That was the second plugin we built, and it was just like, again, giving a massive system prompt of this is what Mint-based contracts do. And from that on, we started learning how to build these transactions. Today, we have a way different way to do things, because we learned, again, like these things are not great at giving deterministic results.
Yeah.
So we have now a tool that kind of like takes a look at a deterministic result from a, let's say you guys are building a plugin or an agent. Um, are you guys actually building an agent that produces transactions, or?
Yeah, so for the hackathon, we did the chain analysis agent, which is collecting on-chain transactions, on-chain details for a user, also scraping the web for any public available information of that account, trying to marry the two. But that in and of itself doesn't have any on-chain actions until the NFT component. Once we finish that process, we can then mint an NFT, send the NFT to the person's wallet who was queried, and now we have basically a in the on chain we have all of that information is stored in a smaller form, and then when we can link across to Ethereum and find Ethereum addresses, we can also use chain abstraction to send an NFT there, and now we're like on chain able to link the accounts, and all of that information is there permanently.
Love it. I mean, this is perfect. We're so excited for your agents. But yeah, so that just to, again, like the on-chain part is at first we try to, let's say you write, I want to transfer an NFT. In your case, for example, I want to transfer an NFT to this account. So the problem there is that we have to ask a lot of questions, right? What NFT is that? Like, what's the ID? What's the contract address? Because like you can reference an ID based on the ID, an NFT based on the NFT ID and the contract in which it was minted. So those are our 2 arguments we need to fill. Then we need to know like who you're going to send it to and who's sending it. Like, so who's the receiver, who's the sender? These are 4 things we need. At first, we try to generate the payload based on your request, your prompt, and try to figure that out. And we learned that today's technology isn't there yet. So we took a step back, and our tool just kind of like makes sure that the payload is correct, but it's the transaction is deterministically generated. So, for example, when you're building an agent today, you specify an API route using OpenAPI specs. And when you just say, all right, this route takes 4 arguments, and you could say this is the sender, this is the receiver, the NFT ID, and the contract address, for example. And that way, we just need to make sure that you're going to receive those arguments.
Yes.
So from the chat side of things, we make sure that the user sends those, that data.
And I think that kind of brings up an important, definitely think something that I've noticed around edge cases. How are you guys approaching the edge cases? You have, for instance, the token swapping agent, where all a user needs to do is type in via their smart wallet, I want to swap 5 NEAR for USDC, and bam, your agent is achieving that, which is really, really cool. But at the same time, if you miss any of those variables, well, the agent might not have the info needed to fulfill and actually execute that swap. So how are you guys thinking about those edge cases?
For now, most of it is system prompts. So like we send the instructions. We pass the instructions, like we need to make sure that this is this these arguments are set. Like we kind of like make sure that those instructions are set.
Right.
How do you say that? Like how would you
Just
phrase this?
Yeah, I guess would just be confirmations, right? And checks and balances, and understanding, at least how I think of it, is trying to map out the edge cases and making sure your agent's aware if there's missing information, it can follow up and just get the remaining stuff before it tries to actually do the thing.
Yeah, so like we have a layer that's like system prompting, and then when I say system prompt, that's like just instructions, right? That's natural language that the developer can set on the agent itself. And then there's the other layer that is on our wallet, on our runtime. Whenever we produce a transaction, we make sure that, for example, let's say if you're trying to swap $3,000, like the worth, we're going to set warnings like, all right, this is like a very high value transaction. Are you sure that you want to do this? And we actually shipped that I think 2 weeks ago. So all of the transactions that we consider risky, we warn the user to make sure that this is something we want to do. Because I mean, again, like this is crazy, right? All of the stuff that's getting generated, we cannot really control because there's so much that can be built, right? So we're just trying to, we open it up for everyone to build whatever they want, and now we're like trying to
help out and provide some guardrails. Yes.
Yep.
I've been asking this question a lot, but you're probably one of the most uniquely best suited people to answer it. Why is NEAR the blockchain for AI? What sets NEAR apart, like fundamentally, technically, apart from other performant blockchains in terms of building with AI?
Well, I mean, I think this answer changes every couple of weeks. But I think, well, first, we have a large group of very deeply involved with NEAR people that know about AI, and like they know exactly where they want to go and what could potentially be the future of AI. And I think NEAR is probably the best suited for this in terms of like the manpower that, if that makes sense, like the resources that NEAR has right now. But for us, I mean, we've been so invested in NEAR for so long. To be honest, like we had a few times where we consider, all right, should we move out of NEAR? I mean, like crypto, everything has its ups and downs. But yeah, NEAR has been fast, cheap. It's been great to onboard people to NEAR. The account system is great.
Yeah,
I love the account system.
And I think that the two that really stand out for me is what you said first, the personnel. I mean, maybe there were 6 people, could be 8, or somewhere around there, that wrote the paper, the research paper that led to generative AI as it is today. And Ilya is one of those people, and he is the co-founder of NEAR Protocol. So that is pretty huge. But then I think the account model, besides all of the performant speed and cheapness of transactions, seems to be maybe a standout area. Do you have any insights as to why that is?
The account model, how it works?
The NEAR account model, and just maybe why it can really help us build apps with artificial intelligence where there's AI agents involved.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, you on NEAR natively for about 4 years now, you can create an account that's controlled by multiple key pairs, and each one of those key pairs can have different sets of permissions. So like you can create a key pair that fully controls your account, or other key pairs that control that has less permissions. Let's say like can do calls in certain contracts with certain functions. And I mean, this is great if we're building things like agents, because first we need guardrails, as we were speaking, and when we create autonomous agents and things that go out in the wild and try to do things, we want to make sure that they don't have like full sets of permissions to do whatever they want. But maybe we want to say, all right, I want to deploy this agent, and I want him to like only swap things on the contract that I that I trust. I mean, this is just an example, but I think the account model definitely helps there in the future of the autonomous agency.
And then from Bitte's side, right, you guys have built some really impressive technology, and now there's users for the smart wallet, but there's also builders that can take advantage of all of the open source tech that you're building, start integrating that, start building their own agents. What sort of advice do you have? I guess we'll start with developers that want to start building with AI and blockchain through Bitte. How can they get involved?
Docs.bitte.ai, wallet.bitte.ai. I mean, start start first with creating your wallet, check out the agents that exist today, and then go to our docs, figure that out. Like it shouldn't be too hard, because again, like we didn't do anything super crazy. We just like picked all the the best information we had at the time to like how can people build like again. And sorry, I'm rambling a little bit here, but like the thing is, there's a lot of takes on like building agents,
Yep.
right? Our take is just, all right, you have an API today, just give it a set of instructions, we load that into our runtime, and it becomes a smart API or an agent, whatever you call it. So again, like for developers out there that know how to build APIs, you can have an agent today if you want. So that's my take is that.
Love it. And just for some context, my experience when when I first learned about OpenAI function calling, I was like looking at the YouTube examples, which was like, how do I find the weather in San Francisco?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then you go and post a tweet about everything you're executing on chain through function calling and I was like, oh my gosh. So like I can attest as a builder on NEAR, what you guys have brought to life has like it like fundamentally changed my perspective on the intersection of AI and blockchain. So I'm like really
happy to hear that, man, because it's the goal is always to inspire, and yeah, I'm hearing first time from you, so it's like I'm really happy to hear
Cheers,
that.
man. And then the last couple of days, I mean, there's just been huge announcements coming from the Bitte AI Twitter account. I haven't even been able to like dive into them 100% yet and start testing and playing around with stuff. But if you can just give us maybe a high level on some of those big things, it'd be great.
Sure. I mean, we have like three main things that I personally really like that we have now. We have the chain abstraction. So like your account, if you already have a NEAR account through Bitte wallet, you can control EVM accounts on 5 chains now. So like Optimism, Ethereum mainnet, Base, and I can't remember like all. I think Gnosis chain. Yeah, go check it out. Actually, I can't really recall all those. But yeah, we have chain abstraction, and we ship 2 agents that now like are EVM agents. We have the cow swap that was just released by Nate yesterday on main stage, and the safe or the Gnosis, the formerly Gnosis safe agent. You can deploy your safe and control your safe through the chat. And what else? Make agent. You've been playing around with it, so like that's the CLI tool we use. We've been shipping new features and trying to fix as many things as possible. So like using that is make anyone that's building an API easy to build an agent and launch an agent. What else? I think I had 3, right? I can't recall what like.
Yeah, those I think we hit at least the ones that I was tracking.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, man, is there anything else that we haven't dived into yet that you really want to make sure we focus on?
No, I think it's fine. I mean, there's a lot. Check out our Twitter page, and everything. Every time we're always shipping stuff and like sharing stuff on Twitter. So go check us out.
Love it, love it. And then I guess one final question I had, just wrapping my head around chain abstraction. You guys have the Bitte wallet, which I think wallets are uniquely positioned to thrive in a chain abstracted world where maybe you're able to interface with just all of the apps through one experience. How are you thinking about the user experience for chain abstraction? What does that look like for a user who simply wants to use crypto apps? They don't want to deal with any of the other stuff.
Yeah, that's what we learned. Like users don't really want to use apps, like users just want stuff done. And if they can just get stuff done by sending their request, and we'll just figure out like how to do the connection. So let's say DeFi is probably one of the biggest use cases right now, and you just want to swap tokens. Maybe you have some ETH on Base, and you wanna have it on Ethereum mainnet or whatever else. So we can help you out because we can connect to the bridging agent, to the swapping agent, the different protocols on different chains, and you shouldn't like be jumping across different tabs to
10 different interfaces.
Just ask us what you want to do and we'll help you out.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Luis, thank you so much, man.
Yeah, man, thank you.
Cheers. Have a great rest of your conference.
Yes, thank you.
Good stuff.
Bro, that was awesome.